Today's show is brought to you by Mouska Planner. You're paying for a travel agent? You may as well use the best. Contact Mouska Planner today. What do you do with your ears when it's raining in the park? The answer is Ponch Ear, the first internationally patented poncho that is designed to protect and display your headgear in the rain without ever having to remove them. Ponch Ear features a patented hood with extended visor to add additional coverage to protect your face. Find them online on your favorite social media or at their website, ponchear.co today. Welcome to the all-new FPE Network.
Florida Park Explorers.
We explore the parks 5 to 6 days a week with great live streams and vlogs. We cover everything from rides and food to magic and fun and fireworks. So come join us on our adventures as we take you through
the Disney parks and more.
Check out our all-new channel, the FPE Network. And thanks for watching.
That always cracks me up. Welcome into another night with the Galactic Council. I am your Galactic Council leader, Emperor Dave. We are here with our final episode of Book of Boba Fett. There's a ton to get into. Just an amazing thing. Let's get our council members in right now because they're sitting back there patiently. We're going to bring in our first one first. Let's bring in Darth Larry. You know him from Ark Castle Life. Let's bring him in. What's up, Darth?
Hello. How's it going, everybody? Hey, Dave.
How are you? Welcome in.
Good. Yeah.
You ready for tonight?
I am ready for tonight. Great episode, great ending to a great series.
Yeah, we got some other news tonight, don't we?
Yeah.
So if you guys are joining us right now on Team Replay, make sure that you leave a comment down below. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Make sure you're subscribing to the FPE network. So make sure you're doing all those things. And by the way, wait, he's that way. Where is it? He's there. He's got a channel too. It's Our Castle Life. Make sure you head on over to Our Castle Life, hit their subscribe button, like some of their videos, watch some of their content. Great content creators. Speaking of great content creators, we have somebody else that's sitting back in the back. He's going to represent the light side of things. He is known as Master Jedi DC. Welcome in, Master.
Good evening.
This is the way.
This is the way. And I have, there goes, hey, I got one of my Jedi Masters back there.
Uh-oh. Better watch out.
She is the Michelle in DC and Michelle Do, and that's our little fun channel that we have over on the other side of YouTube.
Make sure you're going down there as well. Go over to DC and Michelle Do. Hit that subscribe button. Fantastic content creators, great friends. Everybody on here, great friends. Super excited to do this episode with them. They are also Star Wars experts. Speaking of experts, our next guest, and actually I shouldn't say guest. He's not a guest. What is he? He's a council member. Council member. Let's bring him in because at the end of the day, he's got more stuff behind him than I think I've seen in a store. Where are you? Let's see. Sith Lord. Krewitup.
Where's all the stuff? What are you talking about?
He thinks he's a droid.
Oh,
hey, there it is. There it is.
3PO in the house.
What's up, everybody?
Welcome in, everybody. Tonight's
Season finale of Boba Fett.
Yes.
Yeah. We're going to have a blast tonight.
How did I do that to DC, dude?
Hey, what's up, man?
There it is.
How you doing? Good to see you.
What's up, brother?
Looking good.
You looking good.
No, you.
Larry.
Yeah.
You guys are doing it wrong up there.
There we go.
I see you, Larry. I see you.
There you go.
Hey, I'm going to act like the Rancor.
Yeah, there you go.
Everything?
Yeah.
So anyway, guys,
So good.
this was what we were waiting for. Like when we turned in Book of Boba Fett week 1, he climbed out of the pit. We were all going, hey, when's he going to fly around and blow stuff up? I know. We're going to save that for the last episode. So we're just going to kind of jump right in tonight. I don't think there's going to be a whole lot of debate. If you're tuning in right now, there's a couple of things that we're going to do. We're going to talk about Book of Boba Fett. Spoiler alert. We're also going to kind of go back and pull it all together. We're also going to talk about a big announcement that happened in the Star Wars verse this week. Matter of fact, in the last day and a half. We're also going to lay out what the show is going to do after Book of Boba Fett because we're not going away. You can't make us go anywhere.
That's right.
You're joining us. Hit that subscribe, hit that like, drop comments in because we will pull it up just like this and bring up Jill and go, what's up, Jill? How are you? Jonathan, welcome in. Krewitup's in the house in the chat as well.
Yeah.
Mouse Ears and Magic, welcome in. I just saw the beard floating around somewhere. That would mean Gene's in the house. Hawk the fam, crew left. DC, where did you
No, I had to grab something. I'm sorry.
He's over there in the corner.
All right. Nathan's in the house. Fonzarelli's here. Welcome in, everybody. Thank you for joining us. We are the Galactic Council. We are missing somebody today. He's
Marc.
from what I understand, he's in Batu. So don't tell anybody.
Gallbladder surgery.
Order to find him.
He's in line for Rise of the Resistance. It's 100 wait.
It's a 3-day wait. So anyway, we're going to jump kind of right in, guys. What we're going to do is we're going to try and just keep going round and round and round. Where it stops, nobody knows. But what we're going to do is we're going to start off. Last week, I got to be the one who ate crow. Last week, Marc had to eat crow because he made a prediction, didn't come true. I made mine. Here's my may the force be with you. I apologize. I said that Grogu would grab the lightsaber. Oops. We'll get back to that. I have a theory. And with that, let's start with Larry. I'm not going to really do a whole lot on what I saw. I want you guys to kind of take us through the episode today. Larry, kind of give us an overview that, if you would, satellite view of the whole episode. What did you think of the whole episode? We'll obviously dive in just a second.
Yeah, it's a great episode. A lot of action. We wanted to see that Boba Fett in action. You want to see him with the blaster going. With the jetpack blazing. You really wanted to see him take on some stuff. He's been a lot of talking and a lot of negotiating and stuff, kind of leading up with this series. But we finally get to see some good action here with Boba Fett. And it was a good episode from start to finish. I felt like that. They did a good job of filling in a lot of the gaps and stuff. There wasn't a lot of lulls, per se, in the action. And I thought it was a fitting end to the series. I'd say overall the series as a whole, was really good. Expanded the universe of Star Wars and introduced a lot of new characters for the first time in live action. Brought a lot of stuff into canon, that maybe that wasn't before. And it just, it was, I really enjoyed it. And who knows where it's going to go. Still a lot of questions and things out there, left a lot of what ifs and whatnots out there for people to hang on to. So, but it was
apparently Jonathan Chong does not want to see anybody riding the back of Dave as a Rancor. So apparently I am a Rancor, which, hey, I'll take that. That's a compliment.
Funny. It's actually kind of funny comment. Thanks, Jonathan.
Fantastic.
Right.
So, DC, give us that satellite view. What did you think? Obviously, this was an episode we all wanted.
Like Larry said, it was great to have more lore added to Star Wars. Thoroughly enjoyed that, but I'm glad that we're done with Boba Fett. I don't at this point and this particular iteration of Boba Fett, I don't care to see him on screen again as a major player ever again.
Really?
Nope, I don't. I'm done with him. But that wasn't the Boba Fett from my childhood is gone.
Yeah.
I can't wait to dive. I can't wait to dive into that.
Yeah, we have to evolve, but it was great. Don't get me wrong. It was an awesome Star Wars episode. We got to see a lot of wonderful things. We got to have a lot of emotions. We got to further the bond between Din and Grogu, which is, I think, what we really need, because it's clear that, hey, yeah,
sure,
it's clear where the strength lies. And I also I was talking to Michelle about it. We kind of got our Avengers assembled, if you will, in this episode. We got I'd say Rancor was Hulk, and Captain America would be. This is where the argument comes in. Captain America probably would be Boba Fett, because he wants to be, the good guy showing good face. But the real hero is Iron Man and or Mando. So, and we also have Fennec, who is, of course, Black Widow. I mean, what else can I say? But
it's actually
overall episode, I was pleased from a Star Wars standpoint, but I'm done with Boba.
That's actually a good analogy, though. I like that analogy of the Marvel analogy that you put. The only problem is, where does this guy fit in? Is he the favorite child?
It's tough.
Which Avenger is it?
He's the wild card.
Okay. So we're going to definitely dive in. I had said back in the green room that there wasn't a lot to debate. You did not drop that nugget. You left it for live TV. So I am so excited to have some of that back and forth. This is what the council was brought in for. So we could hear somebody go, no, I'm done. Like, I've had enough. So that's fantastic.
Krewitup.
No, I'm with you. Totally with you. Krewitup, take us to that satellite view. What did you think of the last episode?
So I watched it 6 times. Doing the fact that I've been in my house for a whole 2 weeks. But the episode itself, I'll agree with Larry on it. It's Star Wars, it's great. I agree with DC. Star Wars, it's great. However, there are some things that I want to point out that I watched and I was like, whoa, what are they doing with this? What are they doing with that? One of those points, we'll get to later in the show, but the whole episode was really action-packed. Like, I think I texted you, Dave, and I was like, man, it's like the movie Black Hawk Down, but Star Wars. Mm-hmm. And it's kind of like Ambush. And you see people fighting for their lives. And I want to bring this up because I wasn't on this episode for the modders. For all the Power Ranger folks that are out there saying, all these colors and Tatooine, come on. the modders are right there next to Boba Fett,
Yeah.
right? Like fighting, and it brings a different color to Tatooine itself instead of your browns, your tans, your dirt, like everything else. I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a great job with Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni to bring in the modders as like, we're here to back you up. And obviously Mando coming in. It's free. Freetown is coming in. It's all free. The only thing I had a problem with, I'm just going to bring this, throw it out there right now, is that Boba takes orders from too many people.
Yeah.
Too many people. And DC said it.
Yeah.
Boba Fett in the original episode 4, 5, and 6 is not taking orders from anybody. And now he's taking orders from all kinds of people. When he should just say, this is my town. I'm going to do what I want.
So let's dive right into that, because there's an underlying tone that I felt through the entire series. I think that they brought it out in the last episode. It was so hard to not see it. It was like getting punched in the face repeatedly. Cad Bane says it. Boba Fett says it. Everybody's saying it along the way, and that is, what does Cad Bane say? He goes, "You're getting soft in your old age," and he goes, "We all do." Dark Chrysanthemum, or Black Chrysanthemum, is also, you see his age. You're seeing age throughout this entire thing. And what they're trying to say is with age comes wisdom. And, that's fine and everything. To your point, though, Crew, that I would bring up, the colors of Tatooine, I think what they were trying to also do is say, change is coming. And I think that there was a lot of that through the entire series. One of the great things is I went ahead and did something. I don't know if you guys did this. I watched the episode 4 times, and then I went back and I watched them all. I binge watched them. It makes a little bit more sense when you go back through and you watch them all, because we're missing some of the things. We all dissected it pretty well. But, the truth is, when you go back and you watch some of it and you hear it over and over again, they're talking about the winds of change. They're talking about how change is coming. It was the whole series, whether it was change towards war, change towards this. Well, now we got the war. And so the only point that I would say that I saw from that satellite view was that it was designed as a life lesson that we all have to move on. It was, in my opinion, a bridge, if you will. They gave us a character that we loved, and they bridged it together with some Star Wars. Because I think a lot of Star Wars people, and I know DC, and I've had this conversation numerous times, about how they never give us that patch from what we grew up as kids to where they are in Star Wars today. Did they accomplish it? Not well, but they did do it. And I have to at least tip my hat to Star Wars and say, hey, you know what? Good job. I think it went well. It was a great episode. I wish everyone was like the last 3. That would have been phenomenal. So that's my 2 cents in it. And basically, I want to dive back in. Chat, if you guys have anything to bring up, please do, because we're going to unbox a couple of things right off the bat. Obviously, as I said before, we kind of open up. What do we see? An X-Wing's coming in. All right. We all expect we're going to see Luke, R2, Grogu. Who do we see? Oh, look at the cutie pie. There he is. He pops his head up and over. We know that Grogu has chosen the chainmail. We know that he has not chosen the lightsaber. He has chosen to go back to Mando. So we open up in that scene, and there's not a lot to unbox. So I kind of want to move kind of fast through it. If you guys have an opinion about it, I mean, he showed up. You guys have anything that really add before we go into the next scene?
I like how Peli took control of the situation and knew what to do with Grogu.
Agreed.
There was no explanation, no exposition. She knew, okay, I got this kid, got to take care of him. Here we go.
And shut up, R2. I know what I'm doing. The kid just got here. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
I think Luke was irresponsible. Who sends a child in an X-Wing? Like, what?
Exactly. Yeah.
He's getting the keys of the car.
He's not a child. He's 75. He's good to go.
He's like 75, 80 years old. Yeah, to his kind, if you will, or his race. But I mean, Luke goes, "Hey, Grogu, go find Mando." You
out away. It was R2 was going, and he was backseat driving.
The fastest.
But here's the thing: what else is Luke doing right now? Luke is just hanging out on his planet, having robots build a school.
Right.
his first student, right?
It would have cost them too much to do the CGI again. So they said, hey, do we really need to do this for 10 seconds? Wasn't necessary.
It was cool to see Grogu, right? Like in the X-Wing coming down, and Pele, like DC said, like it goes, "Whoa, hey, Job!" Like she's such a great actress. Like,
I love her.
So funny.
She's one of my favorites in Mando, to be honest. I truly love that character interaction. She's great.
Yeah, with all the droid interaction too, with all of the droids she has there in her like workshop, it's really funny. But Grogu and an X-Wing coming down, pretty big surprise, without Luke.
Yeah,
I think without Luke was the part that I think was surprising, because as soon as you see the X-Wing, the choice is made. Larry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I same way. I felt like when I saw that X-Wing, which again was a little bit of surprise, because I figured if anything, maybe towards the end of the episode, maybe he would make an appearance, the cavalry's here. But for so soon to see it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, that's Luke already? I mean, okay, this will be cool. We're going to get that Boba Fett Luke face-off that we kind of were anticipating at some point, maybe.
Yeah, because we do remember the last time they met, Luke chopped his gun in half and sent him in a pit.
Right, exactly. So I thought that would be interesting to see that right off the start. It didn't happen. I, again, kind of thought same thing with Crew. It's like, okay, he's going to send him from, by himself, basically just with R2, just, hey, there you go. See ya.
Well, maybe that's why Luke didn't come. Maybe he didn't want to be the agitator or the aggressor in that. He knew that he was heading to that area, and why go? There's no reason to stir the pot. Maybe that's why it was. I don't know.
Yeah,
that would actually.
But I think they're also setting up for the sequel trilogy. Luke, I think they're kind of beginning to show. Okay, maybe this guy isn't quite the person we thought he was. From the original trilogy.
Well, it's funny you should say that, because I actually have an opinion about that at the end, and so I'm gonna hold Emperor's prerogative towards the end of the show and say, because I actually think you're onto something with that, and it has to do with one of the final scenes. So I don't want to jump too far ahead. So I think we all kind of agree it was fun to see R2. It's fun to see Luke's X-Wing. We jumped in. To Larry's point, I thought it was really, really fast. It was like, oh, okay. Now, the one thing that this council has done every week is we've made predictions and we've been wrong every time. So it's been most of it. I'm wrong again right now. And so, the point being is we've made a lot of predictions where we've said, this is going to happen, that's going to happen, and it's not what happened. So I want to give a credit to the writers, because they are kind of throwing us off balance. Here I'm saying last week, I was positive he was taking the lightsaber. There was no doubt in my mind. Even though I know you guys know the comics better than the books and everything else, it just felt like that's the way it would go. But chainmail wins over lightsaber. Anyway, so, we progress the show. Where do we go? We go to basically it's, they're at the bar that exploded. They're surveying. They're talking about what the plan is. They tell us where everybody's going. I'm going to go to Crew this time, because I know he's itching to talk about what happened. So, Crew, take us through the setup of the plan and where they positioned everybody.
So, the sanctuary is the bar that blew up, is what the name of it is. So, the biggest pieces, they're putting people in this these compartments around Mos Espa, if you will, to guard these areas from people for the Pike Syndicate. The only issue that I had, this will be really, really quick. Blacker Santin is in Trandoshan area. Okay. That's cool. We saw a couple episodes ago where actually the first episode, I think they bring him a Wookiee scalp, if you will, which Trandoshans don't like Wookiees. And then you see...
They hunt them.
What's that?
They hunt them actively.
Yeah. Like it's a thing in Star Wars where Trandoshans and Wookiees. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
You see Blacker Santin in the sanctuary. I think he killed 3 or 4 of them. Right when she was like, "Hey, don't fight," and he's like, "Yeah, right, dude. I'm Blacker Santin. I'm a bounty hunter. I'm a bad boy." And then you put him in this area where he just looks and he's like, what I felt was Blacker Santin goes, "Really? I got to be here?" And then basically everyone else I don't care about, because that's the only scene I liked. I'm just being honest. Why seeing Trandoshan area? Come on.
But then again, they could have put Chrysanthemum in the Trandoshan area to draw them out into action.
Sure.
You know,
Sure, but we're probably going to get into it. What
But
happens?
they're supposed to have a truce. So
Right.
why would you
So
want to pick the Hornet?
but to test them, to
It's
see
like-
if
it was like
he can
stack
draw
of
them off
these
sides, if they will.
So we got a question sitting in chat. So I don't want to miss out on what the chat's talking about. Mouse Ears and Magic brings this up. He says, question I can't find an answer to is why Boba and Mando were not able to shoot through the droid shields, but they could shoot them from behind. Is that accurate? Because I didn't see that.
I don't think they shot him from behind. So what a big theory is in Star Wars is Slave One, which now becomes Fire Spray, the ship from Boba, is why didn't Boba bring that ship back?
There it is.
He has the ability to call that ship back. So all these defense shields, if you will, for the droids and everything else, the ships can bring them down because the firepower is greater throughout Star Wars in general. So we don't know why he didn't bring Fire Spray back, but I'm not sure about the the question with shooting from behind the shields.
But I think the droids are equipped with anti-aircraft weaponry. I mean, you see the size of those droids; they're massive, and I think they came equipped. I think they were equipped with anti-aircraft weaponry, and that's the reason why he chose not to go with that and chose the Rancor. Plus, the Rancor is a cooler thing to attack with anyway.
Yeah. We'll get into that too, though. DC.
Right.
But as far as the question goes, I think they're asking why was the droid able to shoot through the shield, and that's just the nature of how the energy shield is set up. It's a kind of a one-way shield, meaning
So
it allows energy to pass through one way but not come in through the other.
Okay, because he has the Pike was shooting from behind the droids, so it's an interesting thing. You know,
that was my thing, DC. I agree with DC with the droid can shoot through the shields, but I think the question was like, how are the Pikes able to shoot through the shields behind it with their guns?
That's what the question was.
Yeah,
I'm not sure
I don't remember that.
Yeah, me neither.
So at the end of the day, it could be that there's a couple of things it could be. One could be movie flaw, where it was they just had the droid, they moved it over with the click of the mouse, and the pew 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 blaster went through it.
It's a melee.
Or it could be maybe it's a design flaw. Maybe if you get behind them, although we saw clearly Mando shooting from behind, he couldn't get through. So it's a good question. It's a good observation, totally. But moving along from what Crew said over to DC, we're at the sanctuary. Droid walks in and says, "Hey, somebody's here to see you." He looks at Fennec and goes, "I thought this place was locked down. Nobody was going to sneak up on us." Take us into that scene. Let's go into him walking outside. He's with Cad Bane now.
Well, I mean, it sets everything up personally because it's time to go, and that's what we're being addressed. It's like, hey, look, kiddo, either piss or get off the pot because here comes the party.
And what do we get again? We get another Western style duel. What does he sit there and say? He taunts Boba in every way he can to get him to be old school Boba. Now, because you're the one who said I'm done with Boba, I gave you this one because it's old school. It should have been old school Boba. So to your point, DC, you're saying, you know what? I've seen enough of Boba. Old school Boba would have hit him with a missile, 55,000 pow, pow, pow rounds, and walked over and cut his head off. You're not wrong. I agree with you. Does it change obviously it changed your opinion about Boba Fett because he didn't draw down. He's already got his finger on it. He's sitting like this. He's ready to go. All he's got to do is turn. Right. Tell me about that scene because that had to be a pivotal moment for you.
Well, basically, it was just watching Boba be a tactician again. That's all it took. It took me back to him looking for the bigger picture that he's going to have to deal with, and that's the way he handled that particular scene, if you will.
So let me play devil's advocate. He shoots him right then and there. How does that change the episode? Doesn't it change it dramatically? All of a sudden, he takes out Cad Bane right then and there, and what happens? You got 4 back shooters. You got 2 behind him. They take out the other 4. Where are you? You're in a much better place, I think. I think it was the wrong call to play it safe. I think Fennec's wrong.
Well, if I could chime in on that one real quick, I still think that
that's a good thought.
The showdown, it's still a very tense moment because Cad Bane is Cad Bane, so there's still no taking him lightly. So I feel like since Boba are at a disadvantage for numbers, I feel that if Boba were to take that shot, and again, this is Cad Bane, this is not somebody taken lightly. If he loses, then that he takes himself out of already a numerical disadvantage. And if you take Boba out of that equation, then they're really hurting.
Well, let me throw this to you, because sitting behind him is Mandalorian and Fennec. If Cad Bane is focused on Boba with one gun, even with both guns, he still can't hit all three of them. One of the other two behind him are going to take him out. So my contention is you're better off at the first time that the two of them are squared off than the second time, because what happens in the second one? He winds up losing the duel. He's on his back. We'll get to that in a little bit, but let's look at it from the perspective from a tactician. Now, we do have somebody who understands tactics, if you will. The technical advantage technically goes to the two guys in armor, three technically with Fennec being with headgear on. They're in a much better position. They're not out in the open. If he does miss the first shot, the other two are going to ring true. And we saw what happens when the battle goes on. What happens when Boba and Mando are side by side? They're getting blasted left and right. It didn't matter. So I say take the shot. Let's see what happens. I think it would have changed the entire episode. Just to throw a different perspective out.
That's a good what if. That is a good what if.
It is.
Just curiosity.
I think though too. So correct me if I'm wrong. DC, you can probably help me out with this one. I think Cad Bane actually taught Boba Fett how to be a bounty hunter when he was created by Dave Filoni for obvious reasons in the Clone Wars. But I'm pretty sure that he was a teacher of Boba Fett how to be a bounty hunter, how to be that bad dude, right?
I think it was in some of the unproduced episodes. I think there's storyboards out there that exist that do actually show that.
Yeah, and what I think this is not necessarily about Cad Bane or Boba Fett. It's the spice that's ruining all these people's lives. And I think that's where Boba Fett decided with Fennec's words saying, hey, don't get personal, like back off. We will take him to another fight, because it wasn't necessarily with Cad Bane.
Yeah.
You're going to have in reality, you're going to have a show that goes, oh, you're going to fight Cad Bane with three people, Mando, Fennec, and Boba. The show's over, in the same point. But with the spice stuff, I think Boba is trying to get the spice out of his town. And that's why he didn't want to fight Cad Bane, because he knew that when he gets the Freetown coming in with his modders and everyone else, they can take the Pike Syndicate. Yeah. And they can destroy the Pike Syndicate. Cad Bane at this point is not going to sit there and fight by himself. That's my.
But to your point, what does he sit there and say? He goes, "If you're looking for a job, you're late." And he goes, "I already have one." Okay, he already knows. But he knows that he's on the opposite side. He realizes that at that moment there are two definite sides, and he's a heavy hitter. So if what happens is, for lack of a better explanation, he's the BA Baracus, if you know what BA stands for. He's that guy. He's the guy who, if you were going to take out, in sporting terminology, if you were going to take out a Tom Brady or somebody, that's your guy you want to take out. You don't want him in the game. So I think you get him off the board as fast as possible. At least I would, because the other war is coming. Now, 52 seconds after this all goes down and he walks away, what happens?
Go to war.
Exactly right. So he doesn't know that. He literally, Cad Bane walks off. He turns around, walks back. Hey, something doesn't feel right. That's kind of where we go to. They kind of retreat. They go back in, and what happens? Now we're sitting here and we start to go through essentially, probably in my opinion, one of the funniest things is when Boba sends the mayor's aide out with the tablet.
Oh my gosh.
I freaking love that scene. That was phenomenal. I never laughed so hard in my whole life because I look in the guy's face and I'm going,
dude.
Well, that's a direct. It's almost a direct quote from Godfather Part 2.
Yeah.
It really almost is. It's like nothing. But Larry, go ahead and take us through before he goes out to the street. You know, there's a really important scene that happens.
Right.
Mando and Boba have a conversation. That conversation is literally paramount to what the Mandalorians' beliefs are. So take that away for us.
Yeah. So Fennec leaves. She tries to go to Mos Eisley to try to take out like the headquarters of the Pike. So it's just Mando and Boba here, and they see that they're outnumbered, and then they're contemplating like, what do we do here? And Mando, says, I'm here. This is the way. I'm willing to die in honor. And Boba's like, you really believe that, Bantha fodder? And he's like, yeah, I do. So this is kind of the difference between the two creeds here, obviously, from the Mando and Boba Fett, where obviously we've seen Boba Fett without his helmet on repeatedly here. So it just shows those two different creeds, and it just shows, again, it reinforces the beliefs of Mando with the creed, and that he's here for the long haul. If he dies, he dies.
I just liked Boba Fett's answer because he's like, do you believe in that? And he goes, yeah. And he goes, good. He's like, that means I don't have to worry about you going anywhere.
Exactly.
Like we're here to the end.
And I thought it was nice how Mando reinforced Boba by saying that was the right choice. Because at that moment, Boba was having doubt. He's like, he's thinking, oh, great, I just screwed everything up. And Mando says, that was the right move.
Yeah.
And I think the Boba really needed to hear that, because his confidence had just taken a hard hit, especially after all the talking that went on from Cad Bane.
No doubt.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I couldn't agree more. So obviously the mayor's aide runs over, if I can, tells him, I'm course on taught. I went to finishing school, grabs the tablet. Crew, take us through tablet all the way out to the street where he's standing there reading it.
So I am still kind of baffled by the whole shooting scene, if you will, how this starts. And I'm going to take a turn, because could this spin have, I guess, turned around, if you will, with Boba and Mando being sharpshooters, killing all of the Pikes, besides the tablet scene, everything else, just sharpshooting. We didn't see Boba. Boba uses missile in a later scene, right? Mm-hmm. We have two missiles. We have the whistling. What are those called, DC?
Whistling demons.
Demons, yeah. I think that the whole town could have been cleared out.
Well, but to your point, because we're about to get to that point, but one of the funniest scenes happens when he's sitting there with the tablet, and you actually see the gun come up because he's getting ready to blast him.
Yeah,
but he's like, not my words.
I don't know. I didn't like the scene. I don't like two. What do they call them? Two fins, two tails. What's his
head tails?
Head tails. Yeah, like it's like whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I just think it's funny because here you have this guy who's he's literally a spineless fish. They send him out literally to be slaughtered. I mean, my personal opinion is Boba knows that they're going to kill him. And he sends him out with the tablet and goes, here you go. I'm going to give the deception, because what did Mando and Boba just sit there and say? We could go out when they're not set, distract them. And what do we get?
Yeah.
This is what we wind up with, because this is what we all wanted to see. We wanted to see two Mandalorians flying around shooting stuff, and we finally got it.
And that's literally like, that is the couple seconds right after that when they fly in on their jetpacks.
Mm-hmm. They come in by jetpacks.
I still think, though, the mayor's aide, and I don't know his name, but he's just
No, but it was just one of those funny things that you get to see, because he's literally a walking distraction.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
He's drawing all attention of all the gunmen
Mhm.
to him, and
Agreed.
people know in combat and especially melee settings, you draw attention away, and it gives you that split-second advantage when you're attacking.
and there they are. I mean, they both come in, and what's amazing to me is they've come around from two different directions, and they come in, and they're not shooting in front of them; they're shooting across, because the way they came in, their line of sight was to the other side of the buildings, and it was really an amazing thing to see how fast they came in, the amount of damage that they did in such a short amount of time. To Crew's point, I would have come out probably with my missile right off the bat because they were gathered.
Yeah, and that was my whole point. Like when you're flying in, is if you have the whistle, I'm going to call them whistling Dixies, but you come in straight off the bat with that, right? You put the Mare's 8 out there as chump change or bait, if you will, but they didn't come out as strong as I thought they would have, just with all the stuff they have.
I like what Jill put in this because it's actually a great comment. It's the Sundance Kid moment between Boba and Mando. It's like when they rush the door, and the best part of Sundance Kid is you never see what happens, even though we all know. But it's just cinematically, it's a great reference because the next thing that what do we see next? This is literally the next thing you see is this: the two of them. They've landed. There's bodies everywhere. They're going through it. They're shooting. I mean, it's really a cool scene. You have two dudes in armor just blasting away.
And the sound of the blasters pinging off their armor was some of the coolest things that I've seen in any battle in any Star Wars movie.
The sound effects were phenomenal.
Oh, God, it was awesome.
It really was a lot of fun. And this is the first time DC smiled, so he enjoyed this scene a lot. And you can see it because he's like, that sound was great. And that's the thing is Star Wars is not just something we watch. We listen, we feel it. We have that moment. So they're blasting away. And I don't know about you guys, but there's a point where you do sit there and you realize Mando's down. Boba's trying to hover over to take the fire, to draw what he can. Hopefully his buddy could get back up and help him. Anybody think at that moment that there was the possibility of, obviously we know what's going to happen, but if you didn't know what was going to happen, did you ever once have it cross your mind, hey, they could kill Boba right here?
No.
Nope. Never came across your mind.
Nope.
No.
All right. So basically you guys knew that this would be, and by the way, everybody, this is why they're experts. They know everything. So the next thing that happens is what? Boba looks over, someone gets blasted out of nowhere. And this is what they both do. They both look like, wait, what? They look over, and who is it? It's Freetown.
It's the townies. It's the townies.
It came.
Mm-hmm.
They came through after all. So, DC, take us through Freetown, how they came in, what went on with that, and then we'll go up to Larry, then over to Crew after that. So this way you guys can kind of talk about that scene because a lot happened in a very short amount of time, including Vespa. So take us through a little bit of that, and then we'll just kind of pass it around.
Well, when they came in, it essentially continued the tide that was already turning in their favor. And you get to see this reinvigoration between Boba and Mando as they continue, their fight against what at one moment seemed like an insurmountable task. So the townies show up, hop out, and they're ready to go. And they're ready to go back to back, shoulder to shoulder with these guys and protecting what is essentially not even their city, for lack of a better term. But to see
that's because the big rock guy says, what does he say? He says, this planet deserves better.
Yeah. So it was exceptional. It really was to see that because it gives you all the good feels that you want to have in a battle scene, because things, maybe 2 minutes earlier seemed very dire when Boba and Mando were sitting there having that conversation in the sanctuary.
So Vespa gang shows up, Larry. We start to see them roll in with their little pew, 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 little noisy crickets.
Yeah.
They show up with the noisy crickets. They come in via Vespa. Take us through that part where they jump in.
Yeah. So the Vespa gang, we'll call them, or the modders. Of course, this is all part of the synchronized attack. you know, all these posted up positions that Boba had with the Modders and Black Chrysanthemum, you know, and them and the Gamorrean guards also, they were all looking out for so they don't get snuck up on. So this is a part of the synchronized attack where basically the Modders are retreating because, you know, they were under fire, just like how Boba and Mando were previously. Fennec, you know, helped them kind of escape and set them free so they could fall back and kind of see and regroup. So they're coming in and, you know, they're stepping up. And, you know, again, the Modders were kind of like, what are these guys really going to do? But they are proving to be, you know, a force to be reckoned with, even though they do lose some of them. And there was a pretty big group, actually, as far as, you know, what I remember, there only being like 4 or 5, but it seemed like there was quite a few more in this, you know, in that scene. But they're falling back, they're regrouping. And again, it just shows that they are worth having on your side. And there are, you know, kind of hunker down in this area to try to mount a counterattack.
Yeah, to your point.
And the way they blended with the people of Freetown too.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
Because there's animosity there that you could clearly see.
Clearly, and
Boba says, "Focus on the pike."
Exactly.
So,
right.
To your point, though, you know, because Krewitup actually had said about, you know, Black Chrysanthemum when he got attacked. We didn't really talk about the fact that they literally pile on him, and you know, we'll get to that in a minute. But Fennec had to come in and save the Vespa gang. You got Boba under attack. We got the Gamorrean guards get nailed off a cliff, which we didn't even talk about, which was absolutely freaking hilarious, by the way. You know, it was just such a coordinated way that they went about this. And then what does Mando say? It was the right move. You know, like that's what should have happened. They should have anticipated it. So there's a lot of those things that go on during this. I want to kind of bounce ahead because the little ship that they came in, the little cruiser, blows up. Everybody starts taking off. The 2 Mandalorians say, "We'll protect you. Get out of here." The droids are there. Everything's going on. They're totally outmatched at this point. They've got to kind of retreat. I've got to talk about the point at which Mandalorian says, "But you don't have any more friends." And he goes, "That's okay. You do this. I'll be back." Anybody know where he was going? Because I laughed as soon as he said it. I knew where he was going.
I did not. My first thought was, is there Tusken Raiders somewhere? Is he going to show up, or some Tusken Raiders going to show up somewhere? That was my first thought.
I thought he was going to get his ship or the Rancor. Those were the 2 things I thought. I was like, he's going to get his ship or he's going to go get the Rancor. He said, I want to ride this thing through the town. So it just seemed like the natural progression. So there's a lot of things that go on during that time. And I mean, we could literally talk about this for 12 hours because there was so much that happened, but they retreat. Everybody kind of fortifies. There's a bunch of stuff going on. Mandalorian retreats. This is probably one of the cooler things. It was the heartwarming moment. Why? He jumps on the back of what it was kind of like a rickshaw, powered by a robot. And who's there? Our baby Grogu's there.
Bright Eyes.
Bright Eyes is there. So there's a really touching scene that happens with them. Anybody have an opinion about it? I mean, it was really just a fun scene because I want to jump in and get to the Rancor. So you guys tell me what you thought about that fill-in area.
Well, I thought it was a good. Yeah, go ahead, DC. Go ahead.
Mine's a quick statement. I love the daddy moment when he said, "Oh, you got the shirt."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that was good.
Yeah,
little finger. Oh, yeah, you do. You have. Oh, it was cute.
It was. Yeah, that kind of same thing. I was just gonna say it just showed. You could hear it in Mando's voice when he's like, you know, he's talking with Grogu, and you could just hear that, like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to see you," and you know, he chose the shirt, and the way Grogu jumps into Mando's arms too, not just a little jump, but like the Force jump, you know, up into his arms. So I thought it was cool. It was a touching moment.
I got to tell you, I think it was tremendous acting on Mandalorian's part because you can't read his face, you know. So that voice inflection that you're talking about, I think really was well done. I mean, I don't know. I just thought the scene was cool. It was one of those moments where it's like, what do you mean he's here? I'm happy to see him, but let's get the heck out of Dodge.
Yeah. Right.
You know, like now I have to worry about him. So it was really a cool moment. I really liked it. And then what happens? The positions get set. Everybody's doing their thing. And what do you hear? You hear that roar. As soon as you hear it, you're like, I'm going to get to see a Rancor. You mean like that?
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but DC, you can be done with Boba Fett, but riding a Rancor into town to do battle, holding a laser blaster, you're a cool dude.
That's pure Star Wars right there. Come on.
This is what I wanted to see for a long time, was Boba Fett riding a Rancor into battle. So DC, come on.
Oddly enough, only Boba could have ridden him in, because in a couple scenes later, we see Mando trying to get on there, and the Rancor literally throws
he ain't having it.
100 meters. So
yeah, he ain't having it. So Crew, take us through Rancor riding Rancor to town.
So the Rancor reminded me of 1978 Christmas special with Boba Fett, where Boba Fett wasn't even in the Star Wars movies yet, was riding that pink dragon.
Mythosaur.
Yeah, that thing. And it's literally him helping Luke out, R2-D2 and C-3PO. That scene where he's riding the Rancor is what we heard about in episode 2 of Boba Fett, when he said, "I've ridden bigger," right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
And then he gets the Rancor, I think episode 4. I'm not too sure just with when he got it, but we see him get it. And then he what's the word? When you imprints on Rancor imprints on him. And we see this like Boba riding this Rancor, and we see the droid units shooting, and it's just an awesome scene. This Rancor is destroying everything.
It's awesome.
And he tells it, and Boba even tells the Rancor, he goes, "Do it," and he just rips this thing apart.
Right.
We also see like a Rambo, almost Predator, Terminator, 80s action movies. The thumb in the eyeball.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you got to admit that thing was cool, man. By the way, what's up, Disney Baker? Welcome in, Kim. Hi, guys. How are you? Welcome in. Thanks for joining us. But yeah, I got to tell you,
the whole scene, it's just a Rancor fighting droid, like robots that are shooting at his friends and people of Mos Espa. But
to DC's point, he said that the Rancor was like Hulk. It literally was like the Hulk coming in and being like Hulk smash, because he even takes his hand and he Hulk smashes. One of the Pike. I mean, it was just I'm sorry, but in all the things that, like when we were sitting here talking about it, as much fun as it was to talk about it for the last 3 weeks or 4 weeks, it was so much better to see it.
It was way cool.
Definitely.
That's what I'll have about it. I mean, Boba riding a Rancor. He said he would do it.
It was just cool. Larry, what did you see different? Anything about it, or just a cool scene?
No, it was definitely a cool scene. And it gave me like King Kong, almost like Godzilla vibes. And he's climbing up the buildings, climbing all over the place, knocking things down. He literally like reaches through the wall to grab one of the Pikes that was behind the wall. I mean, he just smashes all the way through it. The Pike thinks, "Oh, I'm going to hide behind this wall." It's like, nope, that's not going to work. And that was a great, great scene. I would say worth the wait to finally see the Rancor. And Boba riding it, of course.
And he got a snack at the end.
Excuse me?
The Rancor
got a snack.
Yeah. And again, it reminds me of the Return of the Jedi,
just like Return
Gamorrean
of the Jedi.
guard, is down there, takes a big old bite of him, I was waiting for it.
Pike pocket.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
It was like a hot Pike pocket. But to your point, though, another thing is that I completely glazed over. They do make that reference to King Kong. He climbs the top of the building. He's ripping it apart. What's he do? Yeah. He opens up his arm, roar, does his big scream the way that they do it, like in Rampage and in King Kong. And I thought that was, again, it's a good nod from, Dave Filoni and from Jon Favreau to sit there and say, hey, these are the movies that we grew up with. These are the things that are iconic. It was a lot of fun. And then Crew actually painted the picture just a few minutes ago, which we're going to jump to real quick. Mando's like, hold on a second, hold my beer. I'm going to go ride this thing. He gets up there, and what happens? It doesn't go so well. It's not a good time.
Yeah.
He tries to tone it down, and what happens? Well, he gets tossed a good couple hundred yards through a building. I mean, that didn't look like it felt too good.
Well, after the clink when he bit on his helmet too.
Yeah, twice, right?
Yeah. It was like,
Tells you how strong that armor is.
I mean,
but,
Beskar, man,
but here's the thing.
I want to see Beskar.
Remember, this is an adolescent Rancor.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a full-grown Rancor.
Yep.
So we get a really cool scene that happens. Obviously, Mando tries to ride it like a bucking bronco. Does not work. He gets tossed. He hits the ground. Baby Grogu's going for cover. They pull him over to the side. They do that again, DZ. So Baby Grogu goes, wait a second. He's already saved him once, which we didn't talk about. He walks over when Din's on the ground and pulls the robot apart so that this way it doesn't kill, Mando. So this is the second time that he's going to intervene. And what happens? They're like, hold on, everybody. And all of a sudden she's like, where'd you go? And he's, doot, doot, doot. Here he is right here going, doot, doot, doot. I actually wore the shirt for that because I thought it would be funny. And yeah, I did. And, this is the way. So he literally gets in front of the Rancor. Here is a picture of, you can clearly see Mando's down. That's him in the front. Grogu's staring down the Rancor. The Rancor is looking at him. He gets this close to him. That's our thumbnail for tonight. And the reason I chose it was I was sitting here going, here's Grogu going, just so you know, I'm a bad little Jedi. I'm going to put you down. And then what's he do? Force snap. And down goes the Rancor.
And then he snuggles with the Rancor.
Right.
How cute was that, though, right? Like, there's so many things that happen in that scene, and it's just like, I've got this one for it. I've got this one so you guys can talk about it. There's Mando looking at it. I mean, you have all of these things going on, and it's like, wow, what a great scene to write in there. That it's a Yoda scene because it is absolutely reminiscent of the fact that, on Dagobah, he pulls Luke's X-Wing out of the water and size matters not. Okay. Mm-hmm. This is Yoda as Baby Grogu. So I just stole that. Go ahead, Larry.
Yeah, it's a good scene. It shows that even the short amount of time that Grogu spent with Luke, that where Luke talks about him remembering more than he's actually being taught. So I think there is a lot more training that Grogu has received, and he's able to maybe kind of tap into that a little bit more, that, some of these feelings and stuff, these memories are coming back. So because, we did also see that in kind of the calming of the beast type force use in Attack of the Clones with Anakin, and when they were in the, I can't remember what that arena was called, but they were basically Geonosis. Yeah, Geonosis. Thank you. Yeah. So they kind of did that too. Same situation. It kind of just shows, Anakin at that point was a pretty powerful, force user, and here is Grogu, relatively new, but still able to harness that power and calm the Rancor.
Great point. Crew, what do you got for that scene?
I think we skipped over something though.
We skipped over a lot. What do you want to go back to?
Well, how did the Rancor get loose?
Yeah, I think we're definitely have to double back.
Yeah, we have to double back to that because the Rancor is loose for a reason.
Go ahead.
And why Boba Fett fell off of it, because Cad Bane meets him there and blows fire off of his wrist, and the Rancor doesn't like fire, right? So Boba Fett falls on the ground. Rancor's loose, but I guess we can get into that scene probably here in a second. But back to the Boba Fett, the Rancor and Baby Yoda. It's a great scene because it like DC and Larry said. I mean, he cuddles with it. He puts it to sleep. He puts it at rest. He puts it at ease. And at the same time, we also see Grogu, Baby Yoda, what everyone else wants to call it, uses his Jedi powers. And what does he do afterwards? Takes a nap.
He's tired.
He's tired, right? So it was really cool to see just him kind of like laid up against that Rancor. I don't know.
I can be honest with you. I thought it was adorable.
Because we missed Cad Bane and how
No, we're going to go back to it. I just wanted to talk about that whole scene because it was we were talking Rancor, and I wanted to take the Rancor all the way through to completion, because at the end of the day, let's all be perfectly honest. When we talk about Mando, we're always talking about Grogu and how adorable it was. Because what does he do? He used to just pass out, but he's gotten stronger. So he walks over to it. He puts his hand up. He touches it. Now it's real. He walks around. He walks around it again, touches it again. Then what's he do? I'm going to lay down.
Yeah.
So since you brought it up, because then what we're going to do is we're going to go Crew over to DC and then up to Larry about Cad Bane. Take us through. He gets knocked off. The two of them square down. Take it away.
Great scene. This is the second thing we see with Cad Bane and Boba Fett with a duel. At this point, the Rancor is run away with the fire that Cad Bane put onto the Rancor's face. Boba Fett falls off. It's on his back. We have the verbiage or verbal, whatever you want to call it. Statements for Cad Bane saying to Boba Fett, you know, we're old. We talked about it earlier in the show, but I know you were a killer. And Boba's like, I'm not a killer. You know, I'm here to protect my people. That brown stuff is ruining my people. Boba Fett gets shot after he says, I've got armor. And like we talked about, I think last episode, that dink in Boba Fett's helmet was from Cad Bane in the past. Yeah. But he survives. Boba goes there, lays there, if you will, and Cad Bane goes up to him. And what do we see at this point? We see a gun. Yep, a gun pointed at his head. Then we see the gaffy stick come out in all its glory and just takes both of his guns away, puts him on his back, and then Cad Bane says again, I knew you were a killer, and he stabs him. That is something that I think what I brought up earlier in this show tonight is that Cad Bane taught him how to become a bounty hunter after Jango Fett died from Mace Windu. And Boba's like, you're done. No more bounty hunters are going to kill. I'm going to take care of my people. You're the end of the road, basically. You're the Jedi master of the bounty hunters. I'm going to take care of you. And that's what I saw.
He took him down with a weapon he was not trained for. And that was a beautiful thing. Yeah, that's where we finally got the payoff for the Tuscans. Because up until that point, I'm like, did we waste literally an episode or two on him training and fighting and learning how to fight with the Tuscans? Oh no, we didn't waste that at all. Because there was the payoff. Because that's why Cad Bane was taken by surprise, because he's not used to being, or not used to fighting somebody with a weapon like that. And that's why he was caught off guard, because of the fighting technique that Boba used with the gaffy stick, which completely disarmed Cad Bane and put him in a place where he was completely compromised and eventually stabbed.
Larry?
Yeah, so leading up to that, leading up to this, we get that confrontation again between Cad Bane and Boba Fett, like we did earlier. And again, there's some banter back and forth, like Crew is saying. These guys know each other.
Oh yeah.
When Jango Fett was killed, I think Jango was kind of a mentor to Cad Bane, and then once Jango was killed, then Cad Bane kind of became a mentor to Boba Fett. Okay. And then I can't remember, I was trying to look it up really quick, but there is a statement that Cad Bane makes to Boba Fett. I can't think of what it is at the top of my head. I lost it, but I was trying to look it up.
That's
but
right.
There's some sort of little slang terms.
And he said it Mando.
He says it to Mando, correct?
Yeah.
And then, but then Boba Fett. Oh, I think he said it to Boba Fett. But then Boba Fett had used the same phrase earlier on in the series.
Yeah.
So it was almost like, we kind of see where Boba picked up this phrase maybe from hanging out with Cad Bane. You said, there's definitely some, history between these two. And so then we get this banter back and forth that, you're just like your father type thing. And it's a great scene leading up. and then you kind of wonder what's going to happen. And then he says, you're a killer. And, it's just one of those great scenes where they bring in Cad Bane. You kind of get that ruthless character that we want Boba to be, kind of,
That
right?
guy right there.
Yeah, you want this ruthless character.
Look at that look on his face.
Yeah, he's all in at that point right there.
The thing that I would say to wrap up this section of what we're talking about is there's a couple of things. There's a couple of things that happen. First and foremost would be, what did Cad Bane do earlier? He tried to egg him on about the Tusken Raiders. Probably not a smart move, because while he's literally laying on his back, what does he do? He's still egging him on. Okay, and he's making references to everything, and it's kind of like that moment. Boba closes his eyes, and it's like he has a thought. He closes his eyes. He thinks about it for a second. When he opens his eyes, you get this followed by this, which is pure rage. And then look, there's Boba Fett. Okay, not the Boba, because we keep talking about Boba. It sounds like tea. That's Boba Fett right there. He just killed him, stood over him, and is, you miserable, you're done. Like, I'm back. I'm bad. Let's go do this. I think it was an epic way to wrap up what's going on. Now, here's kind of a question, because there's a lot that actually still kind of goes on for a little bit, but I want to get your opinion about this. Larry said earlier, series, not season, that this was a great way to wrap up the series. DC says, I no longer care to see Boba Fett. Is there a Boba 2?
I think so. I think they're going to. I think because towards the end, and maybe we'll talk about this a little more, there's some statements that Boba makes kind of after things are all settled, to where they're walking through town, and Boba says, maybe this isn't for us, basically. I can't remember his exact words. Like, maybe maybe this isn't quite what we were looking for.
Yep.
And then Fennec says, if not us, who?
Right.
Okay. But again, we'll get a little further on down, and then we see there's a possibility of that somebody, in my mind anyway,
Yeah, exactly.
that could still potentially hold down Tatooine, kind of run things, and Boba could maybe venture off and do some other things.
Try to say who it is.
What's that?
It's Cobb Vanth.
Exactly.
Of course.
Exactly. Of course.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't know. I wasn't sure if we're in our story, we're moving that far ahead yet.
We're okay. I mean, we're basically at the end. But the reason that I asked the question is a threefold. Number one, Jill brings up a good point. It would be against the Hutts, which actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
But my question is because we're now in, like, we can't look at TV shows the way we used to, which is like you have a TV series. It's now everybody crosses over nowadays. We know, because we're about to make the announcement about what came out in just a few minutes. But basically where I came up with the question was, you get this moment where like the band is all hanging out and they're like, hey, everybody, like he's just walked through the town and he's like, maybe it's not for me. Is he going to be in the Mandalorian series? Is he going to be in other series? But they've done enough with the character because people like DC are like, you know what? I'm good. If he came in and he did some bounty hunter stuff, or people went to Tatooine, we've introduced the character, we've told the backstory. Now we don't have to do this. We can just kind of play around with him in the universe. The Marshall story at the end, when obviously we break the credits, we see the Bacta tank, and we see the Marshall's in there. It's been shot. He's in there. And who do you see standing over it? I'm going to go to Larry with this because he brought it up. Who's standing over the Bacta tank with the torch?
Yeah, well, the modder, the guy that's going to do all the mods for everybody. So again, I think if it's a possibility, if they put Cobb Vanth as like the daimyo or stand-in daimyo, if Boba can take off, no, they're going to give him a little more firepower. He doesn't have armor at this point. It's just a guy. Fast on the draw. But he's going to need something. He's going to need something. So it opens it up.
Because even Cad Bane says that to him.
Yeah,
should have left him with his armor.
Exactly. He says, should have never let him take that armor.
Yeah.
And so again, I mean, Cad Bane beats him, but again, it's Cad Bane. So Cobb Vanth is still,
Well, and then there's another scene, crew, that we didn't talk about. It's Fennec going to see the Pike at the end. Take us through the end of that, because then we're gonna wrap this up with the funniest scene probably in the entire series.
I'm taking over when she hangs the mare.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, there's not really much talk, but she hangs the mare and then stabs the Pike syndicate leader, and it's green blood, which I thought was pretty cool on her knife. But
I just thought it was cool to see Fennec back in her element.
Yeah, assassin. And
she did it earlier in the show, and then she comes back to it.
The mayor had to go. We talked about that in the beginning of this whole Galactic Council. Like, he's like, come on, man. You gotta go. You're a gutter snipe, and the Pike Syndicate, they try to kill all of her friends. Basically, she's gonna take care of him too.
Yeah.
Because we got one more scene to talk about that's gonna be phenomenal.
You're talking about the end scene.
Oh yeah. So I'm excited.
We're getting there. We're getting there.
I know. I'm getting excited. I'm sorry.
So let's wrap this up so we can get to literally the funniest scene, because then I want to move on to what's going on in Star Wars world. The Galactic Council started because Book of Boba Fett came out. We watched an incredible series. Started off really, really slow. There were some really bad episodes that were just not good. There's no matter how you paint them. Even when I went back and watched them, they were slow and hard to watch. The last 3 were epic. They were fantastic. They pulled it together, I think, leading into Mando 3. I think that there's so much there. It was so much fun. We're going to make the announcement and then go back for a second, because DC, what's coming out May 25th, I think it is. What's coming out?
Well, hello there. Hello there.
Nice.
Hello there.
Hello there. Hello there.
I mean, Obi-Wan's coming. We're going to be doing that obviously in May. There's going to be a lot going on with the council between now and that time. We're going to be debating, like, next week, just so everybody knows, that make sure you come back next week. One of the things, and by the way, we're not even close to done, so don't go anywhere. But next week, we're all going to pick our favorite Star Wars movie and defend it. So now a lot of people are going to assume right off the bat it will be, there's going to be a lot of surprises here, because the council knows there are Star Wars facts. So we're going to have a lot of people defending their position. We're going to have some game shows, some guests that are going to be coming on from time to time. We've invited some really cool people that have accepted. I won't tell you who yet, because we have to get everybody confirmed and what their dates will be. But let's go backwards for a second, because right before we go to the closing credits is the funniest thing in the entire series. I mean, I don't even really have to say anything. Look at the smile on Grogu's face. We know that what happened when they picked the Naboo fighter, they took out the droid casing, and we all kind of sat there and said, it's for Grogu.
Yep.
There he is. Go ahead, crew. I know you've been chomping at the bit for this one.
So I want to give props to Larry, because Larry said it with the N1 ship. He said, man, that looks like a little bubble where they took the droid out, the astromech unit, and Grogu can fit in there.
Yep.
And I saw this scene, and all I saw was like a child, like, because I do have a daughter, right? So when I smash the gas on my truck, it's like, do it again. Like, no.
Yeah.
No. And you smash the gas and just let it loose. I mean, that's what happened. And he goes, fine, one more time. And just, knocking.
It's this.
I'm just saying, what a great ending scene.
Yeah.
That make us all laugh and just have that peace of mind that Mando is traveling somewhere towards maybe Luke, maybe Obi-Wan. We don't know yet. But he's got the chainmail. He got the N1. He's got Grogu's new seat. And Grogu still has that little ball from his Razor Crest.
Yeah.
So here's the final debate on Boba Fett. Where are they going? Larry, where are they going?
I think long term, I'm not sure about short term. I think long term, they're going to head back to Mandalore.
Yep, that's it.
I think that, like Boba, or excuse me, that Mando said earlier when he was, stuck in with Boba, that this is the way. He is all in on this creed, and he's going to try to redeem himself for taking off his helmet, and he's going to head back to Mandalore.
So Mandalore is first. DC agrees. Crew, do you agree?
I don't. I think he's going right back to Luke.
So Crew and I agree that he's going back to Luke. Now, why is he going to Luke?
I think Luke is going to accept Grogu, and we're going to see Grogu, chainmail, and Yoda's lightsaber. I think he's going to take both.
I happen to agree with you 100%.
I think he already has the lightsaber.
Mandalore, I get it. I know the armor told him this is the way. You got to go to the Mandalore, the depths of Mandalore, but I don't know.
I think he's on his way to Mandalore via Luke, because Luke's not going to let him hang out anyway. And they just built the school. I know that you guys all say Kylo Ren is the first. I don't believe that this is a student so much as a Padawan learner, and that they're going to make a differentiation there. So because I don't believe Grogu was written in. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. But when this was originally done, this was done for Mandalorian. And I think that this is a different storyline, and I think that they're trying to recreate it slightly. And I think what we're going to see is that he's going to go back. I think Grogu has a love for the Force. He showed it, and that he wants to embrace that. But he needed, and I emphasize needed, to see Mando. So,
well, DC and I agree, though. Remember, we talked about it with Grogu. It's not so much being a student, but that he's remembering.
Right, I agree with that.
So he might not be the first student of Luke like Kylo was, just remembering his Jedi ways.
Right. I think he already has a lightsaber. I think he's already got it.
Where is it hidden, Larry? Tell me.
I think he's got it already.
What?
I think he's got it already. I mean, just like, okay, one of the first things, in A New Hope, when Luke meets Ben, right? They start talking. They're at Ben's, Obi-Wan Kenobi's. They're at his place, right? One of the first things he does is take out his lightsaber. And what does he do? Gives it to him. No training at all.
This is your father's lightsaber.
I know, but he still has zero training with a lightsaber. He just gives it to him.
Luke was also a little bum on The New Hope. I mean, look, it's like, aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper? Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think he's already got it. We just haven't seen it yet.
So Jill says, he would have brought it out though when Daddy brought out the dark saber. Yeah, he would have brought it out too.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think he's got it though.
You guys are great.
I think he's got it. I mean, I think eventually he's going to get both. I do think he's going to have both eventually, but I think he does already have it.
I think there was a conversation right in between those two episodes where Luke understands that people need, and this goes back to what I said earlier, that I had a final thought on it, which is I think that Luke realized that the Jedi were flawed. That disconnect, which is what caused his father to go down the dark path in the first place. Hello there, Mandalorian. Grogu.
What can I say? We deliver.
Nice.
Amen.
Nice.
Is that so?
You were wondering where they were going next? They came right here.
We're right there. They're at DC's house. Everybody, just so you know, party at DC's.
He is a Jedi Master. I mean, why not?
Yeah, right.
So I think that Luke realized that there was an error in the way that this is, that disconnect, even because what does Mandalorian say earlier? He says this is fundamentally a difference between the Mandalore and the Jedi. We don't believe in that. It's exactly opposite. And I believe that for there to be balance in the Force, you can't have one or the other. Even with yin and yang, there's a little bit of each in the other. And I believe that Luke realized the only way to rebuild the Jedi with one of the most powerful beings being with him was to allow him to have that connection and to grow the Jedi that way. So I'm gonna go against everybody and just say that's my personal opinion. And Jill actually asked the question, So where was Grogu when Kylo Ren attacked the temple? Well, I don't think we've really gotten there yet. I think that there's a lot of writing between now and then.
Yeah.
So and then Jill wants to know how does the lightsaber still exist? Wasn't destroyed in the movies.
Well, no, he drops it. Yoda drops it and it like falls down, but we don't really ever see exactly what happens to it or how Luke ends up with it. I don't think it was destroyed.
So, all right. So basically, where we're at is we've wrapped up Book of Boba Fett. Does anybody feel like we left anything sitting on the table? I think we pretty much dissected this.
I mean, no.
Oh, yeah.
Going once, going twice.
I mean, I feel kind of how DC feels about Boba Fett, where I feel like this series as a Star Wars series was, 8.5.
Oh yeah.
But as a Boba Fett series, probably like a 5.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with you.
Nope.
I don't think
Boba he's a secondary at best, tertiary character.
Yeah.
More than likely.
Well, but that's actually why I asked the question of, do you think there's a need for another series, or do you think they're just going to intertwine him throughout because he's a good character, but I don't think he stands by himself.
Yeah.
No.
So
I'm more fascinated by Cobb Vanth.
I think you're going to see that the Marshal does take over as daimyo, and in theory, I think that that you may see some off-world battles or things like that. But you already heard Boba Fett say, maybe this isn't for me. If not, who? Well, they showed you the Bantha tank. Pretty sure that's where we're going, which would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Obi-Wan coming out in about 2.5 months. I think we're all super excited for that. It's going to be the return of Anakin. We're going to have a lot of things that are going to go on. We're going to talk about it a lot. We've got a question coming in from the chat. So Jill put this in because Jill's probably going to have to wind up on the show as a council expert one of these days.
Yeah, it's a good point, but
it's facts left and right. So she's got it that Darth Vader comic series reveals that the lightsaber was destroyed in a huge furnace after events of the Sith. It's interesting.
Yoda's?
Yeah, I believe she's referring to Yoda's. So, and then we have a Cad Bane question. So, you Cad Bane experts, any thoughts of the red light still blinking on Cad Bane's chest plate?
No, he's definitely still alive. I mean, we see him when he's laying, we presume dead, right on the ground. You see that he's got, like I think DC's mentioned, he's got the plate, he's got the metal plate in his head, so he's survived a headshot, right? And he's a bounty hunter, so he has to have some sort of tech, some sort of something to, in the situation where if he's critically injured,
stabbed in the chest. I mean, for him. That's
right. Yeah, he's coming back in some capacity. He's coming back. That is a life beacon right there that's keeping him alive.
Yeah, something.
It wasn't a bomb because people were talking about in Star Wars theory, if you will, like in canon, they're like, "Oh, it's a bomb." It's not a bomb. That beacon is keeping him alive.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, he's still around.
So we pretty much have wrapped up everything with it. I think the council is pretty happy with where we went with it. We know what's coming with Obi-Wan. Next week, we are going to, and this is our homework for the week, council members, we will be defending our position on our favorite Star Wars movie. It doesn't have to be the original 9. It can be a spinoff. If you went that way, we will pick on you. But
why would you pick? Why?
Because I wanted to see the look on your face. Larry at least laughed. You were like this, like, what?
Yeah.
We're going to debate what our favorite things are and why. There's a lot to come with the council because we've got a lot of things coming this year between Obi-Wan, Mando 3, Ahsoka. What am I forgetting? There's another series.
think that's it.
There's a Star Wars video game. There's a lot coming out. So we're going to be doing those things. Now, I will tell everybody for Obi-Wan, when it comes out, we're going to do a watch party. So there'll be 2 different shows. One will just be a reactionary. We're going to watch it in real time. Why? I'm up at 3:00 in the morning anyway, Eastern Standard. So I figure let's go on, let's laugh, let's have some fun with it. Larry's in because he's 3 hours early.
Exactly.
So we'll be doing that.
Because he's crazy.
DC's normally up at that hour cooking, so we'll have DC, I'm sure. But we're going to offer real-time response and just our opinions as we do a watch party. And then we'll be doing Galactic Council to continue going down the Star Wars hole, so to speak. So we're going to have a lot of fun with those. Thank you, Kim. It was Andor was the other one because they just signed on for season 2, and they haven't even released the first one. So that's going to be – there's a lot of epic things going on in Star Wars, coming. So it's not like and I don't know how everybody feels, but this last episode was almost like a movie. It was so close. It was, 58 minutes. It was, another hour, and we would have had something. It would have been a movie. So, it was a really, really good time. I want to thank you guys for doing this. Sorry that Marc couldn't be with us tonight. We should have put a helmet out for him. Other than that, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure. We're going to continue down this road, but thank you for jumping in. Oh, Marc's with you. There he is.
I just want to say one comment, though.
Sure.
For Hawk the Fam James. We did kind of cover the back tank bed with
we did.
With Cobb Vanth. So if you missed that portion, that was the Marshal when Boba Fett says the back to tank is occupied. Mm-hmm. And then you go to cut scene and you see Cobb Vanth in there. So we did cover that, just to go with your comment you put in the chat there.
Yep. Thank you for covering that. I appreciate that, crew. So, basically the long and the short of it, everybody, is there's a lot to come from the council, a lot more to come through Star Wars. FPE is also going to be doing anything and everything that covers Star Wars, Marvel, everything else. Here in the next couple of weeks, we're going to be telling you guys about another channel that will be coming probably around the same time as Obi-Wan. It will be the FPE Network Plus. The plus is to mimic kind of like what you would imagine. It has to do with Disney Plus, which means TV and movies. So we're going to be moving all of that content over to that network. So that'll be coming soon too. FPE is growing, and that's because of you guys. Keep hitting that like button, hitting the subscribe. Over on the Extra, we had new shows today. We have new shows next week, both on Thursday and Friday. So we have a ton of things coming. While I've got the council here, I'm going to run through a couple of things just so that we can catch everybody up on what's going on with FPE. Immediately following this, we do have the Disney Underground. Special guest will be WDW Bathrooms. If you missed this earlier today, Jen and Belle were in Hollywood Studios. They did a live. It was a lot of fun. Also, huge announcement today. Pete McDevitt hit 10,000. We're super proud of our partner channel. Make sure you get over there. Support Pete. Super Bowl's this weekend. He's going to have that live. If you don't have access to it or you need to listen to it, make sure that you head over and support Pete. That is a tremendous accomplishment, one that we hope to hit sooner than later. It'll take us a little bit. We're only at about 2,200. But that's because you guys are the best. You have supported this network all the way through, from Florida Park Explorers to FPE Network to the Extra. More is coming. We have kids programming coming. We have the movies coming. We have a bunch of things that are on the way. And I really, really, truly thank every single one of you for tuning in week after week. If you're joining us on the replay, make sure you comment down below. Hit that comment. Tell us what you think of the panel. What can we do? What would you like to see? If you have any topics that you want to know, let's see if we can play maybe Stump the Experts, because these guys know everything. They're really good at what they do. Yeah, you tell them, DC. And other than that, everybody, it's really been an absolute blast. And Jill, we appreciate you. We're going to have to talk to you too, because at the end of the day, the person who comes in literally all the time and knows their Star Wars stuff.
We love it.
I know Michelle's floating around in the background. That's another Star Wars expert. And Jill is one as well. We're also going to be talking with Allie Kay. She's an expert on Star Wars as well. So we're going to be bringing a lot of that female perspective as well, because I think it's super important to not just have our opinions, but other experts come in as well. That's why it's a council. It is able to grow. So with that, I would say this. Live long and prosper? No, wrong show.
Oh, man, no.
All right, I'm out of here. Hang on,
You're right. I'm done.
I just want to see what everybody would do. I had to actually move my fingers down below so that I could get them to stick like that.
So bad.
Larry is with Our Castle Life. If you are not checking them out over on YouTube, that is a mistake. They have a video that came out. It was the other day? It was 2 days ago?
Yeah, a couple days ago, yeah.
So make sure you get over, check out Our Castle Life. Andrea and Larry do an amazing job with their content. Get over there, support them, subscribe. What's more important than subscribing is watching and liking the content. Nothing is better, and I'm stealing this directly from Pete. There is no better feeling than waking up in the morning, seeing that your content was appreciated, especially for a show like this, for what Larry and Andrea are doing. Go over and support them. DC down in the bottom corner, who's glowing green at the moment. Go see DC and Michelle Do. He's going to finish out with his tagline in a minute, but his channel, they do a bunch of things from Legos. They were doing cooking shows. They do a bunch of great content. The Mandalorian is coming to get you. Watch out, dude.
Yes.
That was like almost an apparition.
I love it.
That was cool. So
That was good.
go ahead and finish out that tagline because I know who's with you.
All right. Well, as we always say, do or do not.
There is no try.
Nice.
Mandalorian, I've been waiting 7 weeks to hear you say that. It's good to see you, Mandalorian. And then down below, we have Krewitup. You guys know him and his wife's channel. If you're not going over and checking out Crew on Instagram, you got to give the double pumps. Whoop, whoop. Also, go check out his wife's page, Heather Ever After, another great content creator. These are all great people, folks. Go over, support them. Tell them that you appreciate what they're doing. They're taking time out so that we can all put out some great content, break this down for you, and do something a little bit different than what everybody else is doing. So until then, I'm a Trekkie and proud of it. Watch out for Jill, everybody. And so's Hawk the Fam. Maybe we're going to have to, over on the Plus, throw in a little Star Trek. It's being defended.
Oh, my blade, DC. It's over there in the corner.
So tomorrow night, everybody, you'll see Krewitup on Splash of the Magic, where he and Our Castle Life's Andrea will square off against one another in game show format and beat each other up in galactic bat. Oh, wait, no. We're doing that.
We're beating each other up? Sorry, Larry.
So we're going to have a lot of fun over on that show.
I got this one.
What's that?
I got Andrea on this one.
So we're going to have a bunch of things coming out. And then next week, just so everybody knows, there's something on the network every single night of the week, Monday through Friday. Make sure you check it out. But coming up next, Gene Fitzmagic, Magical Maddie B, WDW Bathrooms. Too many letters for Dave because I can't spell. And until then, everybody, I want to say the council is wrapped for this week. Thank you guys so much for doing this. It's been an absolute pleasure breaking down Boba Fett. Next week, Game On, Star Wars Edition. We are going to defend our position. You guys ready?
I'm ready. Yeah, I could do it right now.
I know you could, but unfortunately, I got a show in 25 minutes.
We'll just stay.
Yeah.
You guys stay in debate. I'll go produce Disney Underground.
And Michelle, they'll stay too. We'll just see her.
Right, they're in.
You guys stay back in the green room and get. Actually, you know what? Dave's just gonna.
It's our show now.
All right.
You got us.
So, and with that, guys, may the Force be with you. The Force is strong in all of them. They're fantastic people. Thank you guys for watching so much. And until then, well, do or do not.
And also with you.
You guys are
you're the best.
You guys really are. We love you guys. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks so much, everybody.
See you later, everybody.
See you guys.
We are the Florida Park Explorers.
We explore the parks 5 to 6 days a week with great live streams and vlogs. We cover everything from rides and food to magic and fun and fireworks. So come join us on our adventures as we take you through
the Disney parks and more.
And check out our all-new channel, the FPE Network. And thanks for watching.
Hour and